Welcome to the first episode of Roast My Online Store's SEO. In the SEO Lexi episode 8, we mentioned an online store called More Guitars. And today we'll take a look inside it from an e-commerce SEO perspective. What could have been done better than it is right now? So let's dig in and take a look at More Guitars. I will call them More, and let's take a overlook at the homepage of this online store. As we see, they have a big menu here, but not a mega menu. So there is a banner at the beginning, an autoplay video from YouTube, a few chosen guitars, a big phone number on an unreadable banner for most people, and a few ads about products, QR codes, and so on and so on. So a very confusing homepage for the user, and maybe also for Google. We'll take a look inside it. So before we start with every online store, we should take a look at the Robots.txt file to be sure that Google is allowed to crawl this website. So the Robots.txt file says that it disallowed a lot of things, but as we see, there is nothing special. So the ad spot for Google is not important for SEO, but the user agent with the star here indicates that all these rules apply for every user bot. And as we see, there is nothing interesting, just the admin panel, some product image PHP file that might be an issue, but we'll take a look at it. Account PHP, cart PHP, checkout PHP, finish order PHP, all URLs which are not interesting for Google. And for other user agents like the GPT bot, they delayed the crawl by 10. So it's looking fine. So the Google bot is ready, is available, has the opportunity to crawl this online store without any limitations. That's good for now. So the second thing we should care about are the double redirections. We have a special lesson about that. That's the lesson where I mentioned More Guitars, so the SEO Lexi lesson 8. And if we look into it, so what we are going to do is the default URL, if you open this website without entering anything, so just moreguitars.com, it will open the HTTPS www version. And we will check that URL, the opposite of that URL, to the bulk URL checker. As we did in the lesson, we will do it here again. So instead of the default version which is open, we will open the opposite version. That's this one. Check the status and we will get double redirections. So this online store is losing 50% of its external link juice through those double redirections. It should be just one, no matter which URL of the 4 default main URLs we are opening. and as we have seen in the lesson, this online store has an authority score of 22. And if we take a look at the backlink analytics of this website, we will see that the most domains, referring domains, are sending their link juice to the HTTPS non-www version, and those 87 domains are of a better quality than those 80 showing to www. So the default URL of this online store should be without www, and there should not be any double redirections. Just by doing that, this website will get 50% more link juice, meaning that authority score of 22, which we see here in the SEMrush tool, You can test SEMrush with a trial version for 14 days by clicking in the link in the description, and you have all the access to all features without limitations from SEMrush, which is not usually the case if you take the usual 7-day trial version. So take a look inside it. This online store is actively doing marketing, or the main target audience is in the US. Therefore, we will choose the US visibility graph, and we can see that this online store has been struggling since the beginning with SEO. They have right now approximately 5,000 organic users per month, which means that they have, with an average conversion rate of 2%, they might have, what's 2%? It's 50, so they have 10 customers monthly only through SEO, which can be increased immensely if we take a look at the competition. But for the beginning, this online store should clean up the double redirections problem and choose as the main URL the non-www version, and it will get better. So now when we save that link juice, we need to redistribute it through the internal link juice. The main part of the website is, of course, or the main links on the website homepage of this online store are links to which are placed in the menu. But we can take a look at detailed. So detailed SEO extension, we see the links here. It has a total of 311 outgoing links from their homepage, which is a lot for a website which has an authority score of only 22. They should reduce it at least to 200, and if possible even lower. So the main issue would be to clean up all the outgoing URLs from this homepage to get at least at 200. We could start everywhere. We could start from the footer links and see what is needed from the legal standpoint and what is just a doubling from everywhere else, and leave only those things which are really needed. And then we have here a brand list of 2, 4, 6, 7, 21 brands at the bottom of the page. So we can install a mouse tracker like Mouseflow or Hotjar and take a look if users are actually clicking on those brand pages here, brand links. And if not, we should remove them because there are 21 which are not supposed to be here if they are not so important. We will take a look at this if it is. Don't forget to take a look always first at the mobile version of this website. So if we take a look at the mobile version of this website, we should always reload it. And we can see that the menu is placed here, and we should take a look if we have a double menu. So if you have two menus instead of one, because that could be also a reason why we have 300 links, because the menu in here has 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Now we see here that they have, let's say, 30, 40, 50 links. Okay, it should be the case that they have only one menu, but we should be sure. So to be sure, we inspect this element and take a look inside this source code and see where the menu is located. And we see that there is a class mobile menu toggle. So that indicates that maybe we have two menus. So we'll remember mobile menu toggle, and we will also open this website again in the desktop mode and take a look where this menu is located. But for that purpose, we need to turn off the mobile version, then load again, and now see where this item is located. And we see that it is another div, so it has an ID menu. So the question is, are both menus shown in the source code, not depending if we are opening it from the mobile device or a desktop device? And if that is the case, we should consolidate those menus into one, which would save, let's say, 150 links and would make a great impact. Therefore, we will take a look at the page source and take a look at the toggle menu. So the toggle menu is being shown if we have opened the desktop version, and is being shown in the source code if we take a look at toggle. So if we search for the ID menu, there it is. So it is right below it. So it looks like that there are two different menus, but we should check navigation page items like new products or anything else which is also shown here. So we see that vintage gear is also the first point in the menu in mobile and here, so we will search for vintage gear. And we see that we have only one menu. So the navigation page is vintage gear, and at the second stage it's a data product entry. So it is not a double menu, it is a menu which is the same on desktop and mobile, which is great for this website. So we have now cleaned the biggest issue this online store has, which is the link juice distribution. So how to clean up the homepage? We would need to talk with the online store owner. The second thing, which is not good usually, is to autoplay any video on a homepage or on any page. Also, embedding videos will cost us a lot of page speed. So we will now take a look at what CMS is behind here. So this website is using BigCommerce, and popular shop CMS. It's not WooCommerce, it's not Shopify, it's not Magento, today called Adobe Commerce, it's BigCommerce. So a PHP based CMS, and now we can take a look at the page speed. The page speed should not be measured to products like Google Lighthouse. It should be measured on the server side, because this is not our client. We can only emulate what is it looking. So instead of using any other tool, we should use some reliable tools. One of the most reliable is webpagetest.org. We should choose a server which is near this website. So let's say that Salt Lake City in Utah in USA is in US. We will choose the mobile browser because it is important for the mobile user experience, because Google is also mobile index first. And you will not make any throttles here in the connection. So we will not simulate an LTE connection, because that will give us another picture of the website. We can redo the thing with LTE, but we can use native connections to find the issues which should be shown. And we will also try a browser desktop dimension, which is the default laptop, most popular laptop dimension, 1366 times 768 pixels. So let's take a look what that page speed test will show us. So we are first in the queue, so we will wait until this is finished. Okay, and then take a look. So that's all about the home page. That should be the case. So, but the menu, as we have seen, has a lot of under menus, and this should be a clear structure based on the main category, then a subcategory, and then a subcategory. Or because this is a small online store, it would be enough to have a category and only subcategories listed here. What we should not place in this menu are things which belong into the facet, into the filter of this website, which, for example, should be brands. But if we take a look at the keyword guitar, so I already did it here, and it's showing that acoustic guitars is the most popular, but let's take a look at guitar. So guitar has 246, but we need an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, so a bass guitar, and so on. So guitars are divided into two groups, into electric guitars and acoustic guitars. Then the electric guitar can be a normal guitar, a standard guitar, or a bass guitar. And it has also a difference between how many strings it has, and so on. And the acoustic guitar can also be a bass guitar and a standard guitar, and it can be half acoustic, which means you can plug it into an amplifier. When buying a guitar, usually, for example, an electric guitar, you need an amplifier, you need a cable, usually you need a guitar stand, and so on. So you have a lot of additional things you need to buy, and sometimes you make the wrong choice and want to upgrade your gear later. That means most of the people are not changing the guitar, they changing the amplifier, they changing the pedals, they changing guitar strings. And as you can see, those keywords have an immense search volume in the United States. But what is a guitar? Here, Google says it's a transactional keyword. Let's take a look inside if guitar is really a transactional keyword. We will do that by analyzing the top 10 results. And as we can see, on the first place in Google, we will find Guitar Center, which is an online store, I assume. But on the second place, we will find Wikipedia, meaning it's not completely a transactional query, because people are looking up what a guitar is and so on. But the rest seems to be almost everything an online store. But if you take a deeper look inside, Ultimate Guitar is not an online store. Ultimate Guitar is software where you can learn how to play some songs. So you cannot buy, as you can see, you cannot buy guitars on Ultimate Guitar. You have tabs. Tabs are the visual version of how to play a guitar without knowing notes. It's where to place your finger on which string, and you have courses how to play and so on. So also the third place is not an online store. Then Eastwood Guitars is an online store. Musica shouldn't be also an online store. I never encountered them, so I will open it up. Again, it's a tool for learning how to play. So the keyword guitar seems to be not completely with the transactional intention, but people would love to know a little bit more about guitars. They would like to know how to play a guitar, and so on and so on. So musician is also very similar to Ultimate Guitar, and we have Reddit with some Reddit thread about guitar lessons and is it worth to buy an expensive guitar. So the answer is no. If you're a beginner, it doesn't matter. But let's take a look. So Eastwood Guitar seems to be an online store. We will open it up. Enya Music, we will open it up. Martin Guitar and Kiesel Guitars. Those four beside Guitar Center, I will open the Guitar Center too. So to see if they are really guitars. So Eastwood is an online store. Enya Music is an online store. Martin Guitar is an online store. Kiesel is an online store. And Guitar Center also. And somewhat at the beginner level, you would love to have the keyword guitar, to have a top 10 placement for that. That's not the best idea. So if you're a beginner, yes, you will need to choose if you want to learn an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar, because acoustic guitars are less expensive, and it's easier to learn them to play. Beginners usually start with an acoustic guitar. So acoustic guitar, as we see here, is also an information and transactional keyword, and an electric guitar also. The question is, what of these points here, menu points, should not be there? What doesn't belong to this online store or to an entity of guitars? So as we see here, they also sell used guitars, amps, and pedals. There is no they haven't divided those used guitars in the menu into electric and acoustic guitars. Until this is opening, I will take a sip of my espresso. So we can also not refine it here, but it seems that this online store has a focus on electric guitars, and they're selling also amps, which are for electric guitars in most cases, and pedals, which are usually also just for electric guitars. Let's take a look at new products. At the new products page, we see that the loading speed is a little bit slow, but among the top 10 guitars which they are showing, we see only one acoustic guitar, which is usually also, I think, a half acoustic guitar, but we can take a look inside it. What we also can see is that this shop is selling some fancy guitars. So it looks that they are not focused on beginners. Then we have again 3 acoustic guitars, then electric guitars, electric. So we can say they haven't focused on electric guitars. So electrics is here, they are divided into brands. So instead of electric guitars, which can be divided into standard electric guitars and bass guitars, they just telling electrics is a category of itself. Okay, so then the difference would be what? Custom built electric guitars, maybe electric guitars for beginners, electric guitars with at the lower price segment, and so on, but not the subcategories shouldn't be the brands, but the menu is not a replication of the category structure, as we know. So we need to go into electrics and see if this is only the case in the menu, or they really divided electric guitars into brands. So if we take a look here, we see that we cannot refine it by anything else. Nothing is working. We can just use the price filter, and they have really used brands as subcategory. That is the wrong approach. So having those is wrong. It should be a facet, a filter refined by brand, and then Epiphone, Fender, Gibson, Gretsch, and so on. So that should be the first thing. Let's take a look at acoustics, and we see that again in acoustic guitars they have done the same. Fender, Gibson, Martins, and no other facets available. So that looks really bad, and they have only 3 pages of acoustic guitars. And how many electric guitars do they have? So they could narrow down their entity. They have 6 pages of electric guitars. So they could narrow down their entity not only to guitars, they could narrow down it to electric guitars. But as we cannot speak with the owner right now, we will live with it. Then we have basses. Let's see if there are any acoustic basses. I suppose not. because almost no one is buying those. Yes, we have only a few bases from for electric guitars, and we have amps. So amplifiers uh, are a popular category, but again, we have only the amps divided into into brands and nothing more. Okay, so why I'm doing this? It is one of the most important things after making sure that Google can access a website, an online store, and that the link juice distribution, that the link juice is not cut in half through double redirections, is for Google and for the Google bot to identify the entity, the topic of that online store. So they really can recognize from the structure of this online store what it is about. So we have also pedals. We have here types, boost, chorus, delay, looper, modulation, blah, blah, blah. Too many, but it's okay. And then we have also brands. Again, this is one of the things they should change, because brands shouldn't be there. But we'll take a look at the rest. And then we have again accessories with cables, pickups, capons, guitar slides, picks, stands, strings, and so on. So that is okay. So guitar accessories are looking fine. That should be something which should be replicated in the other categories. And we have some knowledge. Best for beginners. What means look at this. It's spelled wrong. Beginners. So knowledge is a similar way to say we have a wiki or we have a blog article. But if we look at this article, it's empty. So they linked something from the menu which is empty, which is a bad idea. So then best acoustic guitars for beginners, -1. Again, something which is not, which is empty, which has no content at all. I will click on the third one and to see if everywhere that is the case. No, here it looks somehow something is written, but this content seems not to be high quality content, and we lose like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 links on it. We should remove all the sub pages, sub menu items, and just leave it there, knowledge. And then in the knowledge panel, listing of all those articles, we could clean up for only to have the articles which are really meaningful and helpful. So Google will not rank best acoustic guitars for beginners if it's empty like here. So here is another link. It's not the same as we clicked at the beginning, but this doesn't look like a high quality article. So for this online store, maybe they should just leave that out and remove all the knowledge, because it's not helpful, and it might be the case that nothing from this ranks. We can check it out, of course, but that's the first impression. So we need to clean up the entity, try to narrow it down if possible, but menu items like vintage gear, new products, used could be removed from the menu. Gear deals also. That could be some points on the website to see, to list for the user new products, and let's say 6 new guitars in here, then some vintage gear below that if we want to give an accent to those products. But look at it, this vintage gear gets a lot of link juice, and then there is only one guitar inside. So we can remove the vintage guitar. As we've seen used guitars, it is way easier to find a guitar, let's say this one, find the same model of the guitar in the new way. So this Schecter 2005 C1, if we have it as a new product, we can also put an announcement inside it. It's also available as a used product and buy it therefore. We will not have the chance to rank for used guitars with having 5 products in it in that category. So we should remove it. So remove vintage gear, remove used, remove new products, gear deals. What is under gear deals? Let's see. So just by having a deeper insight in that, we can see that we can remove a lot of stuff. So this is also, these are deals and they shouldn't be placed in the menu. So this is a nice part of the homepage instead of having those ugly banners and some things which are not useful for the user. Maybe we should have those deals somewhere below the main content. So electric guitars are staying, acoustics guitars are staying, basses are staying, amps are staying, and pedals maybe. Pedals should be a part of accessories. We can argue if amps are also part of accessories. They are, but they're so important that they should stay in the menu. So pedals, we could fight and we can argue about it if pedals are so important or not, depending on who is being targeted by this online store. Are those beginners or more advanced users? And if I take a look at the prices of all those guitars, let's see what the cheapest acoustic guitar they have inside here is. Let's say we don't want to give more than $200. Is there any guitar which, no. So it's now somehow sorted by the price. Okay, price ascending. It's also not a great idea to sort products in the category by price ascending. It should be by the most popular product, by the best seller, by the most sold products, and so on. So we have the cheapest guitar we can get is $449. So that is not, that cannot be called as entry level for beginners. So we can say it is also not a guitar someone who is advanced would be looking into it. Maybe some advanced beginner could look into it, but the rest is quite okay, but nothing special in here. Let's see what the most expensive is. 10,000 Taylor custom. So we see that they have also custom guitars. Custom guitars are handmade guitars which shouldn't be in the same category as standard guitars. So the last one's custom. So we could argue that the better categorization inside acoustic guitars should be standard acoustic guitars and custom acoustic guitars, and look deeper into it. So therefore I looked up the keyword acoustic guitars, and we can take a better look inside here to see which keywords are having a search volume which is reliable. So acoustic guitar seems to be transactional, 6,600. Then we have the brand combinations. Therefore, the idea of the owner to make the brands a subcategory. Fender, Martin, and then he best acoustic guitars. That is a commercial keyword, meaning they want to read about best acoustic guitars and then decide it. Then best guitar strings for acoustic guitars. Vengoa, Yamaha, acoustic guitars for sale. That is what beginners are searching for. And then we have an important keyword, which is left-handed guitars. So acoustic left-handed guitars, because usually guitars are made for right-handed people, so searching for a left-handed guitar is quite special. So that could be a third category. So we have standard guitars, custom guitars, and left-handed guitars. Used acoustic guitars could be also a subcategory of that, maybe. Then cheap acoustic guitars, that is already something which is better to think of as a category or a subcategory. It's not optimal. It should be a descriptional thing, but cheap acoustic guitars is better. I'm on purpose not looking into the other shops. I want to make first my opinion about what could be made here, what makes more sense from my perspective. get into the topic, get a sensibility for the possibilities, and then take a look how others did it. It is not the best way to take a look at the top 5 market leaders and tell yourself, I'll do the same. It depends on the inventory. What kind of guitars do you have in stock? What is being sold already from your experience? Because this online store is already online for 6 years. So they know what people buy from them, what are best sellers, and so on. So in communication with them and looking inside what they what inventory, how the inventory looks like, which type of guitars or gear has a stronger side, we can decide what to do. So acoustic guitars with ports on top. Interesting filter. So if we put this as a facet, that would be interesting. Types of acoustic guitars. That is not a commercial keyword, I would argue. Great acoustic guitars. Acoustic bass guitars here again. So still users are searching acoustic guitars for beginners. That seems like a keyword which has a lot of potential, because either you are selling to beginners, which online would make a lot of sense. Why? So we need really to get into customer psychology. If you are a beginner, you know nothing about guitars at all. So at least that's the objective standpoint. Maybe you think you know a few things, but your knowledge about acoustic guitars or guitars at all is very, very shallow. So you need to expand that knowledge. And the possibility that a beginner buys a guitar online is way higher than that a professional or half professional guitar player buys a guitar online. Why? Because people who are playing professionally a guitar, they want to try it out. Even the same model of the guitar, if you have 3 exactly the same standard guitars in front of you, and if you play them, they sound different. Why? Because there are some small mistakes or better things done in the production. So they want to try them out, to have the feeling, to feel it under their finger the tips, to see if they're comfortable, if it's that, and if they need to change the strings, which is often the case, they will change it inside the store to see if they can accomplish the feeling they want to get. So only people who are not professional, half professional players, they want to have a fancy guitar like a Gibson, they would buy one online because they will not feel the difference. So selling to professionals through online stores is very hard, or only in one case it's not that hard, if you make a custom guitar. So if you are a guitar builder and you build guitars and build custom guitars, then maybe if you have a big pedigree in that niche, people will order specific custom guitars from you. But this store is not the handmade shop for guitars, they're selling standard guitars. So focusing on beginners might be a good idea. So let's see, good acoustic guitars, top acoustic guitars. So in this niche, it seems that people are looking for recommendations, because it's hard to compare, but it's an interesting comparison, is washing machines. So most people don't know what now is required from a good washing machine, what are now the top washing machine brands, and so on. And if you're starting with playing guitar, you may heard some of the brands which are legendary, but as soon as you Google those brands, you will see they are higher priced than the rest. So you're searching for some recommendation, like here, good affordable acoustic guitars. So having subcategories in price ranges is often not a good idea for online stores, but for guitars, it might be a good approach. But let's see. So coolest acoustic guitars, 6-string acoustic guitars. You see on that most guitars, acoustic guitars, are 6-string acoustic guitars. So somebody googling this is giving us already the idea that we are talking about a beginner. So Breedlove, best amps for access. So a lot of questions in here. So acoustic guitars near me. Look, so already somebody searching for to try it out. Best beginner, best budget acoustic guitars, and so discount acoustic guitars. So we could say that acoustic guitars as a field, as a sub-entity of guitars, is more on the beginner side. And electric guitars, that I will not open now the electric guitar keyword and take a look inside it and so on, because from my knowledge, electric guitars come after acoustic guitars, so they're a little bit more advanced, and then they're searching for amps, they're searching for pedals, and so on and so on. So if we talk about acoustic guitars, it's more beginner focused, and custom-made acoustic guitars are for professionals. And on the other hand, at electric guitars, they know that the starting price is a little bit higher than acoustic guitars, but still they know a little bit more about guitars, how they function, and so on. Now, let's take a look at the other online stores. But before we do that, let's take a look at the web page test. What is the speed performance of the homepage of this online store? So we should always do at least 3 tests, speed tests for an online store, for the homepage, for a category, and for a product page. So category, product detail page, or called category page, or product detail page. Product listing page, PLP, is a category, and product detail page is a product page. So we should take those 3, because the homepage is the starting point where Google comes. The Googlebot, we should take a look into it first. So we see at 1.7 seconds the user sees finally something, and almost at the 3-second range where most users are leaving an online store, we see a black rectangle where the YouTube video is being loaded. So by removing that YouTube video, we would see already a second part of the online store. So the part above the fold, so this is called above the fold, everything which is mobile above the fold before scrolling down is ATF. And we see here that on the online version, I'm not even able to scroll. Now I'm able to scroll. So instead of giving us this autoplay YouTube video, they should give us some possibilities, maybe some categories, and I cannot stop this video playing. So now I stopped it. So it is really interesting to see. It's really also hard to scroll here. I don't know what is happening here. Okay. It's everywhere you click, something is opening. So you see a lot of banners, really heavy images, which we'll see now in the report, and nothing useful for the customer. But from an SEO perspective, most of the users will not land on the homepage. They will land on the homepage only if they search for more guitars, for the brand name. In all other cases, they're coming into the category. So if you take a look in the acoustics guitar category, that looks like this. We will also use both desktop and mobile. And while it's being loaded, it's extremely slow, this website. We see that the homepage has also the time to the first byte, which is 0.6 seconds. So it should be below 0.2. And if it gets lower, it's even better. So this website might be using not the right server, not the right hosting for an online store. And we can take a look at the website loading. So we can see that it takes almost 7 seconds to load the homepage. And now if we take a look at the elements, we will see that a lot of elements are being loaded, a lot of JavaScript, and a lot of pictures. And here the JPEGs, as you can see, some of those take 1 second to load. So if we take this one, we can take a look. What is this? It's this banner. It takes almost a second to load. So it is not optimal. And as I said, too heavy images. We will take a look also at this one, just to give you a sense. Yeah, play now, pay over time with 0% interest. This is not the right way to build a homepage. So that should be removed. But so far we have already come. So on mobile, we can choose between the brands. It's okay. Then we have listings about the guitars. There are no information about when it can be delivered, where it's being delivered, what are the delivering costs, and so on. Not good for Google. Should be seen on the category page, at least if it's in stock or not in stock. And sometimes they write also it is possible to buy them via some loan with a bank credit. So that is okay for pricey guitars. But as we have already established, acoustic guitars are not the favorite choice for professionals from an online store perspective. And let's see here, it's the same. So what is missing? A lot of things are missing. So if we take a look at the title text, so it says buy acoustic guitars online or in store more guitars. Buy acoustic guitars. Okay, so we should assume that the keyword is buy acoustic guitars. Maybe it's acoustic guitars, but we don't see any H1 here. So H1 should indicate that that is the main heading of the website. And as we can see in detail, there is no H1, there is no H2, no H3. So for the beginning, this website should have at least H1s in their categories. So if we look into subcategories, which are here brand categories, we can take a look at that and see that they also don't have an H1, or what is here below. Well, let's see if that is an H1. That is an H1. Okay, great. So it's time to see for what this website is ranking at all. So let's see what positions they have got. So 21% of the traffic comes from their brand keyword, more guitars, more music, Evansville, Paul Reed Smith bass. Okay, that's a fancy bass. PRS guitar deals, PRS amps. They're on position 3, but only in the pictures, in the image search. So we don't see any combination. Fender acoustic serial number, PRS Silver Sky Seagull guitars. Okay, 5,400. That seems to be one of the best rankings they have. Guitar strap looks also fine. So the Seagull guitars are acoustic guitars. And they have a very funny URL with the minus in here. And they have 2, 4, 6, 8 same pictures as I. Do you see any difference? I don't think that there is any difference between those pictures. Okay, but still, Google let them be, and let's see in detailed if it's the only H1 they have. Yes, that Fender acoustic guitars. So as you can see where they have placed the H1 here, Seagull acoustics, if it would be Seagull acoustic guitars, and in the title Seagull acoustic guitars, that would be way better to rank for that. But they just told Seagull guitars. Maybe Seagull is not making any electric guitars, but again, to be able to have a structure, because it's inside acoustics here in the breadcrumbs, and it should be somehow noted that this belongs to the acoustics part. Okay, and there are no subcategories. So this online store is really small from the main product perspective. And the accessories might be here, mics and more. What is mics and more? Let's take a deeper look also inside that. Okay, mics and more, then wired Microsoft in-ear monitors, earphones, podcast and live stream equipment. Yes, those are things which are maybe misplaced in this store. So, but maybe it's equipment for guitar podcasts, podcasts and guitar live streams. Then it might be a good thing. So we cannot go deeper inside that. No time for that. So let's analyze also some other maybe important keywords for them. Fender, they have some guitar models. Okay, let's take a look at the product page of one guitar. Let's see. Let's take a look at this one. So Paul Reed Smith White. It's also picture. Where was the Fender? Fender Telecaster Surf Green. Also picture. We need something where they're not ranking with a picture. Frequently asked questions. Fender FA. So their positions are very interesting. Electric guitar online. So people are looking for a simulator, and they are ranking with electric guitars. Okay, Fender Gemini again. Or people also ask. So you can see on this icon that is not a standard ranking. It's a ranking among the other here. Paul Reed Smith basses. So this is also not a product. Do they have any product ranking normally? PRS SC 254 vintage unburst. What is that? I really don't know. Oh, okay, it's a guitar. Great. So that's a product page, and on the product page they hopefully have the product name in the title tag. They have, and they have it also in the H1, if that one what we're looking is an H1. Yes, it is. So as you can see, for those things they are ranking quite good. So okay, let's see what others have done regarding the entity, the structure of this website. So the Guitar Center has a mobile menu on desktop, which is the worst thing you can do, but still they have guitars, and they have here electric guitars and acoustic guitars divided into left-handed, acoustic electric, 6-string and 12-string acoustic guitars. And electric guitars, they have solid body, hollow and semi-hollow body, left-handed and treble and mini. So that's their view on those categories. Interesting. Let's take a look at another shop. Products, okay, guitars, bass guitars, acoustic, Brazil series classic signature. That should be a brand, Tajima. Never heard of Tajima, but seems that they're producing their own guitars. So this is not comparable to an online store, normal online store. So again, we have Sweetwater. As it looks, it's a music online store, not only an electric online store, but still we have electric and acoustic guitars, guitar pedals and effects, and more guitars. Okay, and I have solid body, semi-hollow body, baritone guitar, 7-string, 8-string. Okay, acoustic, 6-string, 12-string acoustic, left-handed. So we were on the right path with those, with that classification we had in mind. Let's see what Eastwood has to offer. So they have a shop by instrument, guitars, tenor guitars, baritone guitars, 12-string guitars, left-handed guitars. Okay, they have an interesting categorization. But as you can see, you can choose the series. And again, these are Backlund, okay. These are the series from Eastwood. So Eastwood is selling their own guitars, and instead of brands they have series, and that's the way more guitars should have done it. They should have here brands and then selection by brands. Okay, and the last shop would be Enya Music. Enya is also selling their own guitars. Martin and Co have all guitars. It seems that they are selling only acoustic guitars, modern, authentic 12 series, so nothing also fancy. And they have a custom shop, as you see. And Kiesel, design your signature guitar, body options, so they have guitars, standard, acoustic, and so on. So as you see, this niche is quite confusing. So doing it in the right way should have enough benefits. So electric guitars should be divided into left-handed guitars, custom electric guitars, so left-handed electric guitars, custom built electric guitars. Then we could also put them the basses in here, so electric bass with 6 strings, with 12 strings, with 4 strings, and so on and so on. So just by having a big cleanup and making it very easy for the user to find first the type of product they are searching for, then they can select the brand. So here, one thing which is made good is the electric guitar, left-handed guitars. So we should, if we enter this category, have a title tag which says electric left-handed guitars, almost right. And then we can now refine it by the brand and take a look inside it. Because they don't have so many, we don't need any refinement here. But they should think about, should they sell left-handed guitars if they only have 5. So the minimum to rank in Google should be 6 products to have any chance to enter the top 5. In the US it should be 12. So if they don't have 12 for each subcategory, they should either stock up and get more guitars, different guitars, or say, okay, we will leave the left-handed guitars beside that. So in the acoustic guitars, we have a nice view here, what can be done. So left-handed acoustic, 6 string, 12 string, and so on. By the electric guitars, they can divide it into solid body, semi-hollow body, and so on. Okay, so that seems as we are already near the finish. So the biggest issue here is, let's repeat it, double redirections on the domain level. Then too many links. If we clean up all the things we have seen which not belong here, then we have a clearer structure. And from the technical perspective, all the categories and subcategories should be researched and renamed into the right keyword. They should have an H1, which directly correlates with the title tag, and take care that they have at least 12 products in all of those categories. And then they should use brands as a facet or maybe as a sub filter. So instead of trying to rank like here for Fender guitars, they maybe should, not maybe, they should have an H1 Fender electric guitars. Look what here is, shop Fender Vintera series online. It's not a Vintera series. So it's a mess up here. So it should be said here in H1, which should be visible in the above the fold. The H1 should be visible in the above the fold in mobile. Why am I today clicking always the wrong things? So, so as we see here, if we enter as a mobile user to this category, Fender electric cars, we have to choose between those things. But instead, we should write the H1 and then show the products we have. And an amp has nothing to do in the section of Fender guitars. So clean up this one and then allow them to choose the series if needed. So those changes would take up maybe a week, all the things we have mentioned, but the increase of organic traffic would be immense, would be really big. So just by leaving the things we are good in, focusing on the things which are really selling, and entering those H1s as they're supposed to, and put the brands as a filter, or if it's technically easier not to mess up with the filters, would be to add them as subcategories into the right category. So electric guitars, then we would have left-handed electric guitars, and in those left-handed guitars we would have Gibson left-handed guitars, Fender electric left-handed guitars, and so on and so on. And if we take a look at the paging, that's what we are going to do, because there could be also some issues. They have the most electric guitars. We are now on page 1 of the category. As we can see here, it's index and follow. And the second page should be no index follow, right? What they have here, they have index follow. So they are indexing, trying to index also page 2, page 3, and so on. And page 1, as you can see here at the bottom, I'm not so fast in clicking it, but in that way, there under it, you can see at the bottom left side of my screen that this one is not linking back to the electric guitars category, is linking to page 1. So it's creating duplicate content for the first page, which should also be fixed. And then the third page is again index follow, right? That should be cleaned up with no index follow, because we don't want page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 inside the Google index. But we want with the follow to distribute the link juice from the category to the products. And clean up the homepage and put out the guitar models which have already successful numbers in those 6 years, which are selling good. Put them on the homepage, the 6 best selling guitars, and also maybe put 6 guitars which have a high search volume for their complete name. So if an Fender, a Stratocaster, something has a search volume and you have it in stock, you should place it on the homepage so that it gets the direct link juice from the homepage, and then you will rank better for that. If we take a look at the product page, we can see that there are many from the conversion optimization side that should be better. So those those buttons are not looking very serious, are not convincing, and have the wrong color. And CTA button, a call to action button, should have a different color than any other color on the website, so it stands out, so the user knows where to click. And here it looks like a little bit ridiculous, so people could think this is some fake shop, this is not working, or it's just not a high design standard what they have done here. But still we have everything in here. So the next thing we should check are rich snippets. What rich snippets are on this website and on the product page? Are they really made good or not? And also in the category page. So let's do that. So rich snippet testing tool. So we will enter first the product page, if they have any rich snippets, and we will also take a look at the electric guitar page. As we will take a subcategory, because we want to know if the breadcrumbs snippets are working fine, because they are also very important for entities, which we will talk about in the next lesson in the SEO Lexi school. So why is it on German, for God's sake? It doesn't matter. So let's see product snippets. It's one product snippet is found availability is not there, so they don't know if it's in stock or not. Meaning this should be fixed, because why should Google serve product URLs for which they don't know if we have them in stock? And the second thing would be, why did I enter again the wrong URL? So we want the left-handed, where is that? Here, left-handed guitars to check the breadcrumbs. So now, not that, we want this one. So let's check this. Okay. And with those small changes, with the things we have learned until now, we address the most important things. And the next thing we need to look, after we have looked into the rich snippets and the breadcrumbs, which is again the topic of entities, is the CTR. So the next thing we should look into it, after we have taken care about the basics in this smaller online store, we should take a look inside CTR. And now we can see that this category has no rich snippets, meaning this is not a breadcrumb snippet, meaning that Google is not sure where this category, first of all, they're not sure what this category is all about, because the age 1 is missing, the users also. Second thing, they don't know if it belongs now to acoustic or electric guitars, because there is no breadcrumb here, and that's a big issue. So having a clean structure and having breadcrumbs will clean up that entity and would have given this online store a lot of more potential. And the next one would be CTR. So if we were to look into left-handed guitars, we see that there is a missing description, meta description. So meaning if we take a look at more guitars inside Google for categories without a description, Google will generate a description which won't be the finest description of all. So used musical by acoustic guitars, okay, affordable guitars, basses, okay. Let's take a look at exactly this URL, if possible, if it's indexed at all. Yes, so look at this mess. So this is what Google is showing. PRS SE custom 24 lefty faded blueburst, something which is not helping the user to click on it. So if they have a good position or a top 20 position, their only chance to get higher is to increase their CTR, or the best chance to increase their position is by increasing their CTR, their click-through rate. We don't have access to the Google Webmaster Tools, to the Google Search Console, so we cannot see what their CTR is, but because most of those categories don't have a meta description, and that meta description is not good enough, it means that the CTR has a lot of potential. And we can also take a look at the product page. In the product page, we see there is a description, but that description is way too long. It has more than the double size which is allowed. So taking inside, although this is ranking on position number, what was it, PSCSE 5. So if they make that meta description better, that could be good. So if they would have the stock indication in the rich snippet, it would be written here, the price in stock, and if they put the delivery data into it, it would be also written deliverable in 3 to 5 business days, so days on what's written there. So the title tag is the exact one as on the product page. We can take a look again at details. So Vintage Sunburst 370 at More Guitars. Okay, More Guitars is cut out by Google, and then there is a description which seems a custom generated by Google and not the one entered, or the first sentence. It's the first sentence of the meta description they have entered here. The SE 245 will cover all of the tones you need in style and is the answer for players who grew up using short scale single cutaway guitars. Okay, if that is something, we can take a look at the SERPs of the competitors for this keyword. It's interesting because this guitar has a 1600 search volume, so focusing on guitar model names could also be a good idea for this shop. PRS guitars, so the manufacturer is on position number 1, and as I see now, more guitars is not even listed here. Why? What is this? They are on position number 5. Okay, so maybe they were just removed from that. We can take a look at what the others have written inside the meta description, and then that will be enough from that standpoint. So here we have a US based manufacturer, nothing meaningful. Then here Met Guitars, the weight is perfect as the first guitar or the last guitar you never. Okay, so what are people, if somebody knows I want to buy that guitar, that one, especially that one model, what, when they enter it in Google, what they expect from Google to give them online stores where they can buy it. And what are they searching for? They're searching not only for the cheapest one, they're also searching for the most reliable one. So in that meta description on the product page for this online store, it would be the best to write deliverable right now or in stock, deliverable to you in 2-3 business days, safe package or safe transport guaranteed, also insurance for that guitar because it's expensive, and so on. So those details would make a difference between you and others writing, this could be your first and last guitar, on this guitar is so and so. Because if you decided to buy that guitar, you're just searching for the most reliable way to get it, and also take a look at the price. So maybe you can be a little bit more expensive than all the others, but if your meta description and your service is giving them reliable, or the feeling that if they buy it from you, that guitar will get safe and in one piece to them, maybe you have a better chance to be clicked on. And here we see that the guitar is no longer available in Sweetwater, but is still ranking. It means that a few days ago when Google came by, it was in stock, and right now it isn't. So although the guitar niche is a big niche and a lot of money is made there, online and offline too, it is a field where online stores can improve a lot. So if you take the SEO Lexi school lessons for free, you can take a look in YouTube in our SEO Lexi channel. You can join SEO Lexi, get certified, and learn how to get those clients in our masterclass and how to satisfy them in order to give them more revenue, more organic revenue, to help them grow. And today, in the first episode of Roast My Online Stores SEO, we have shown that with just a few things you can have a big jump in Google, and the client would be more than satisfied, and your job would be amazing for you, for your client, and also for the people searching for it, because as you have seen, it is not really the case that some guitars are missing, that they are not reliable information, and so on and so on. So again, in the masterclass, we learn why you should choose clients from a niche. You understand the niche. And now today you have seen, if you dig deeper inside the content structure, into the category structure of an online store, you need either to invest a lot of time to get a sense what should be good and take a long look into the search volumes to have a structure which is meaningful, which will be taken by Google seriously and will be loved by the users and have a good end result at the end. So see you in the next roast in episode 2, and we will try to build up a checklist of things you need to check first, second, third, in order of importance and in order of the effect which can have on their online store. And that checklist will make your job easier and help you to find out the best things to do first, because what is the most important if you get a good SEO client, an e-commerce SEO client, is that you deliver results fast, so that the client trusts you, sees that you have certain knowledge, that you give them more revenue, and then they are happy, and you do not need to discuss what your fees are, because you are getting your client a lot of more revenue and a lot of more profit, which is important from the SEO standpoint, than they pay to you. So you have more freedom, you have more trust, and all people taking part in that transaction will be happy, you, the user, and the client. And that means that the client will invest more time, get more freedom, and doesn't need to invest so much time in the offline store and see the opportunity in an online store, especially if there's something like this online store we have analyzed today. So see you next time at Roast My Online Stores SEO. Bye bye.